Good morning, Andreen. How are you doing? Hi, Philippa. I've got my squeaky chair back. It's very comfortable, but it's very squeaky. It's kind of annoying, but I love it. So, what a change in the weather today. Not good. Morning, Wendy. Morning, Christine. Thank you for joining me. This is a super easy one, despite the fact that it looks quite difficult. It's not difficult at all. So I'll just wait for a few more to come on and then we'll get cracking on. I'm great, thanks, Andreen. Yeah, very good. Had a lovely weekend, meeting all my pals and going out, and yeah, I've had a fabulous weekend, and now it's back to normal housework and I've got some new curtains to hang. So we've got them after. Yeah, I'm really glad you can watch. Unfortunately, things had to be cancelled, but I hope they've got it all sorted out. So you can get sorted out with it. And everything's okay. Philippa? Yeah, life gets in the way, doesn't it, when you want to watch a lot of lives? You have to schedule them. I've still got a couple to watch. I've been uber busy because I've been on Nana duties with Lyra. We've had some great adventures. And of course, I've been out with my daughter for a book launch. So yeah, that's been fun. Hi, Julie. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Yvonne. Right, we've got a few on, so I'll crack on. So this is what I'm going to be using. I haven't got a sample to show you because I sent it to Julie. But you all know what it looks like. It looks like a... Hi, Brian. It looks like, you know, a kind of window box easily. Oh, I don't know, kind of thing. I wouldn't know what you called it really, but... So these are the things I'm going to be using. So I'm using Hazel's hard dyes, but I'm only using these three, which is the outside edge, the heart one next to it, and then a couple down we're going with the heart that cuts into the card. So that'll give all the detail that you need. So we're using those first. I'm using a mixture of Hazel's sentiment medleys, obviously, for the wording on the front. I've changed it this time. I put different words on it. Last time it was a retirement card. This time it's an anniversary card. So I'm also using medley of leaves, stamps and matching dies, and perfectly pretty blooms, stamps and matching dies. But obviously we've got that many lovely flowers and leaves to choose from Julie that we can... Sorry, just got a message. So we can choose whatever flowers we want to go in, and lots of them will go in this box on the front. So first thing we need to do is get an 8x8 card blank. Okay, and we want to use it so that the fold is at the top. Okay, so it will stand nicely. So the next thing we have to do is cut that card down to a 6x8. So again, leaving the fold at the top. You literally just chop off 2 inches from this side and you end up with your 6x8 card. Now, I always make a template for anything that I'm doing, and then in the future I can see quickly and easily how to create it again without having to go all through the process again. So I've cut myself a 6x8 piece of card that will fit exactly on the front of there, because this is now going to create the shape of your card. Okay, and we need to turn it into this. So what we do is 1 1/4 inches from either side. Okay, we put a mark. So 1 1/4 inches there, and 1 1/4 inches there. Okay, and we draw lines on these. I mean, this is only a template, so you can line your piece up there and find the line you need and just draw a line. Doesn't matter how long it is. And then again, the same on this side. Line it up on your mat, find the line you need. It's literally about the width of my ruler, to be honest, so that's what I'm going to go with. So we're just going to draw the 2 lines there, and then we need 1 1/2 inches up between them 2. We make a mark and we join that across. Okay, so we're just lining it up, finding the line we need, which is that one, making sure it's all straight and just drawing the line. Okay, so you've got a H on the bottom. So then what you do is you cut that piece here away and you end up with that, which is the template that is now going to be able to be drawn round on the front of your card. And this makes the hold on, someone's just asking me where the live is. Oops. I'll just tell her on a message, otherwise she'll be pinging all day. Slowest typer in the world. There you go. Right, let's hope she can get us now. Right, so, oh, morning Joe, just seen you've popped up. And Caroline, morning. So this is the card blank that we chopped down to make a 6x8. So if you just line that up on there, you now have the template to draw around, so you can take that little piece out of the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to do this with a craft knife because I find it easier than messing about on a trimmer. As if my craft knife will work, that is. My very expensive craft knife. So, line it up on your mat with them lines, and then you can just trim the two of them at once, and then you know you have got the same shape front and back. Okay. You can, as I said, do this on the trimmer if you wish, if you've got one of those trimmers that stop and start. And then you can just remove the pencil marks. I hope you haven't gone too far. There we go. 1, 2. Alright, so remove your pencil marks now. And the only other thing we've got to do to this is I like to use a corner rounder and shape the edges of it. There you go. One there. You have to do all 4. I'll do them separately so I don't mess up. And it just gives a really, really nice finish to the edge of the legs of the easel. There we are. So you've got your basic shape. There we are. Okay, so let's pop that to one side for a minute. And let's get on with the little box that goes across the front. So we need a piece of card that is 8 inches by 4 inches. Okay. And what we're going to do is turn it into this so we can fold it up and get it all sorted. So before I do anything, I'm going to rub off the 8x4 because we all know what size it is now. And then what we're going to do is score it down from top to bottom with the short side at the top. Morning, Cynthia. And we're going to put a score in at 1, at 2, and at 3. Then we're going to turn it round and score at 1, and 7. Okay, so that's scoring at 1, 2 and 3, turn it round, scoring at 1 and 7. Okay, let's move this and then we can do the chopping that we need to do. Okay, like I said, we need to turn it into this. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab some scissors and I'm going to cut up all of these end lines to the fold. I am not the greatest at cutting straight when it comes to scissors, but it doesn't matter because these things that you're doing now, you're creating tabs. So do that on both sides, just up to the score line. There we go, like that. Okay, so the first one on either end, that's this one and this one, I always take a little mitre off it so that you can line it up nicely and create a nice square. So we'll do that one first, and the same on the other end. Mitre there and mitre there. Okay. So the next one we don't need to touch. We just leave that one as it is. We need that one square. And the next one along, we mitre that one. And then obviously the same on the other side. Mitre that one. And then this end one that's left, we do not need. So we're going to cut that one off. Just cut it off. Straight would be good. Told you I'm no good with scissors. There we are. So we've now got the actual box part that we're going to lay things into. Now I've heated up my glue gun because I think it might be quicker to do whatever I need to show you on the live with a glue gun instead of having to sit and hold it. So now we just need to put our creases in. Now get yourself a bone folder out. Nice sharp creases. I don't know what card this is that I'm using, but it's quite cracky. Even though you score it, it cracks a bit. But what I've found to do, you can see the cracks there. It's 300 GSM. So what I tend to do is fold it and then fold it back on itself, and then the cracks, they are then on the inside and you don't have to worry too much. Okay, so essentially what we do is this. This square one is the one that sits on the end to make it nice and square. If you wish to put the other two on, that's fine. It'll give you kind of like a crisscross shape on the end. But what we're going to do is put the two pieces that we've trimmed into itself, and then we're going to put that one along there. Okay, so I do have actually some pegs out, so I might use normal glue because the hot glue might make it a bit thick on the edge, which I don't want. Got a bit of yellow ink on there. I don't know what I was doing there. Must be putting gems on, I suppose. So glue them two to themselves. Make sure it's nice and squared up. And then that one can come up there as well. And I'm going to pop a peg on it. Hi Jean, hi Gloria. There we are. And then I'm going to do the same with this side. Okay. Glue on that one. Glue on that one. Pop them two together. And then pop that one up. Square it up nicely and put your peg on it. Now, this piece here, once these edges have dried, is going to be glued and pushed back in, so it's got a nice thick edge on the front or the back. You can put it whichever you want. So they should be okay by now, I think. This bit takes the longest out of everything. Just make sure you've squared it up nicely. There we are. And now I'm going to put glue all along this one, right to the edge. And then I'm just going to fold it in on itself, press it down, give it a little minute. A little bit of yellow glue on that one, kind of annoying. There we go. That's when I was sticking the gems on the flowers. Hi Leonie. Okay, so now we've got the square box that we need to go on the front. Make sure you glue to the sides. I do have a tendency of not doing that, like. There we go. So, there's the little box that we need to pop across the front of the card there. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is make a strut to go on the inside of this box. Okay. You just need something in there that'll sort of be able to hold. You know when you were making those exploding boxes and you had to put struts in to hold your flowers, so that you've got a little bit more 3D looking. So this is, I've done it 7.5 by 3 3/4 of an inch. I'm just going to rub that out now. But any size strip, as long as it's not taller than this box, you know, you can go up to sort of an inch really, because this is an inch. It's up to you, but I just chose to do a 3/4 one. And then I've just done a little fold on either end so that it will attach to the side of the box to give you a strut in the middle. Okay, and I think I am going to use hot glue for this, so it'll take a little minute for me to position it. You want to position it kind of in the middle. Okay, I'm going to use hot glue because it's quicker for me. I'll be able to just carry on. There we go. We just want it positioned sort of in the middle or towards the front, wherever you want. It doesn't matter, because this is where your flowers are going to sit to give the 3D look of the window box and the flowers, and just making sure that's dry. There you go. So that's in. So I hope you can see that. I'll bring it up. So you've got that, and then you've got this roughly in the middle. Roughly, I say. You know, it's so cold in here today. I'm going to have to put the fire on. There we are. There we go. I'm going to leave that to one side to fully dry now. And then I'm just going to show you what I've done with the medley dies. Okay, so I cut one out using the 3 dies that I showed you. I'll just pick them up again and I'll show you them. So I've cut an outside edge there. I've cut into it with the big one, and I've also cut into it with that one, so you get this lovely piece. Okay, now I had a spare one and I've chopped a piece off, and I'll show you that in a minute why I've done that. But this one, and then I used the outside edge and cut myself one so that when I put it together you can see the lemon, because we're going with lemon today. I went with pink last time. You can see the lemon shine through. Now this is Studio Light papers that Julie uses and Hazel uses, and it's double-sided. It's got a light on one side and a dark. It's from the ombre pads that she does. They're brilliant, absolutely brilliant for that. So I'm looking at the colours that I've chosen, and I think I'm going to go with the bright yellow to shine through this time, because I'm using mustard seed on the flowers. So I'm going to put some glue on. I'm not putting it on with foam pads. I'm going to have it flat. There's enough dimension with the box on the front for all the flowers in that you know. I mean, obviously for this card you are going to have to make a box, to be fair, because it stands quite proud. So let's line this up with the scallops. Perfect. Give it a little slide so you can't see it at the edges. There we go. Make sure it's all in place, and then we're going to press that down. So we can bring the card in now. So we're going to line that on there, and it fits really nicely. And then this, with the extra folded side, that's going to be forwards or backwards, whichever looks the neatest for you. Okay, whichever looks the neatest. I'm going to put it that way, and that's going to sit on there. So first things first, I'm going to glue this on flat. There we go. Make sure it sticks. And I'm using Studio Light tacky glue for this. It's a nice glue. Glue's lovely. There we are. Make sure you've got a decent border either side. I'm just going to lift it up so I can move it over, because I can't really see at the angle I'm at. So there we go. Now this is now going to sit along the bottom part of that scallop. Okay, so it's going to sit up right on the edge of that scallop. Now again, I think I'm going to use hot glue for speed for this one. There we go. Take off what I don't need and line it up against that scallop so you can just not see the scallop. And press it down. Make sure it's on either side, and you're going to press that down so it sticks. Again, you can use your double-sided for this, your strong double-sided tape. You can use this glue, white glue, but just for speed, I'm just going to pop it on with that. Okay, so now we've got the easel shape, okay, there. And now we just need to decorate it. So I'll show you the flowers. I'm ahead. I've done quite a few of them, as per normal. Pop that away. There we go. So I've picked a couple of the leaves out. 2 different ones I've used. And I've used all different ones that I wanted. I love these ones. These fit beautifully into this box. And they're good fillers as well. So in order to colour them, I've used, let me see, I've used Intense pencils. I've got a yellow and a green. I'm just sticking with the 2 colours, and I'm doing it the exact way I do all of it. Oh, I haven't cut that well. There we go. I usually do my watercolour in this way. Put a little bit in the middle of the flowers. And the same with the leaves. Just a little bit at the end. You can use whatever you like, obviously. Distress inks, anything you've got to colour these in. Pencils, pro markers, whatever you like. But I wouldn't use acrylic markers on these, because the acrylic markers on the front, if you were doing these out of vellum, it would be great. But the acrylic markers on the front of a stamped image, because they're not see-through, then they tend to cover the lines up, and that you don't need, do you? So I'm gonna, all I do then is just use a little bit of water and pull that colour out to the edge of the leaf, leaving it darker towards the base. That's all I do. It's a very easy way of colouring things very quickly. And I'm using water brushes from Studio Light, but I don't put water in them because I squeeze too hard and flood the image with water. It's not the brush's fault, it's mine. I kind of squeeze really hard on them. So I've got one for the yellow as well. And the same thing with that. Just pull your colour out from the edge, leaving the middle part a little darker. There we are. I've only got 2 to do, the rest are done, as you can see. There we are. So, has anybody got any questions? Hi, Linda. There we are. So that's all we need now to be able to decorate it. So bring it back in. Now, first thing I want to do, excuse me, let's take a drink. I've got them all laid out. So I want to put 4 at the back. But I'm not going to glue them just yet because I want to see how proud the flowers are going to stand up. Okay. So I've got kind of layers of flowers. I've got 3 of the big ones, which are going to sit in between those. There. Yeah. So, actually, I think I'll put them a bit further down. And I'm going to commit, because otherwise I will be messing about for half an hour. And we don't need that, do we? So I'm going to commit to the stick. Okay. I'm just going to glue them flat, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space up there to put my sentiment on. I know, I love these, Julie. We're not supposed to have favourites, I know, but if you look, I use them on everything, honestly. I just absolutely love them. Different colours, they look completely different. Okay, these now, I think I'm going to pop on with foam pads if I can find some. I'm not really, I ain't got a lot of them, I'm using more. I've got little tiny ones that I've had for years. I don't tend to use them very much, but okay, we'll go with them. There we go. I'm going to pop these on with a little bit of foam pad. just so they stand up a little bit, gives you a little bit more 3D. I've got 3 of those. I did think that this was kind of cute as a retirement card, especially for somebody who loves the garden. But really, you could use it for anything. I mean, who doesn't love a bit like, you know, some flowers? So I've got 3. So I'm going to pop the 3 of them in between these leaves with that foam pad. Okay, as you can see, where you want them, totally up to you. So you've got a bit of leaf coming through as well, right? Now trapped. Tuck them behind that strut that we put in, so we've got the strut to be able to add things to as well. Okay, so now I've got some of these little tiny, I love these. So I'm going to pop these in. I think on the front of that strut, I'm going to pop them in. Okay, so I'm going to pop a bit of hot glue on. This is working just exactly the same as a pop-up box. Remember the pop-up box that we used to do when the exploding boxes, when they first come out, everybody was making them. Remember? Well, it's just the same as that. And if you don't want to use a piece of white for the strut, right, then you can use a piece of acetate, and then you don't see the white bit, and then it kind of looks like the flowers are floating. So it's totally up to you, right? Okay, and I've got these as well, which I think I'm going to pop on the ends just to fill the ends out here. Again, a little bit of glue, and we're actually gluing to the front of that strut so you can see them. And I'm getting stuck to the foam pads and everything. Right, okay. A little bit on there. And pop it on the edge. So it's filling them up, filling it all up with pretties. So now we've got 3 more. So I'm going to file them on the front strut now, at the back part over there. Okay, so we need to glue the front of this. Find another glue stick, would help. A little bit of glue on the front, and I'm going to attach them in. Do you know what I didn't do? I did not paint them leaves. I put the green on, but I didn't do the leaves with the water. Good job. There we go. Let's do that. That was a bit of a hit and miss, wasn't it? Have I done any of the others? No, I've done all of them. Must have just forgot to do those 2. So, 1 bit of glue on each one. Fill in the gaps. Okay. That you can see. I hope you can see what's going on proper here. There we go. So I'm filling in those gaps there. And now we've got 2 which I'm keeping because I might want to put some up there, not sure. But we've got all these leaves now, so we can start to fill in where you can see spaces with some leaves. Now, you know me, like to chop into things, so I'm going to chop it off there, bit of glue, and I'm going to pop that in there. Again with this one, a little bit of glue. Pop that in there. Okay. There we go. Now, lift it up, have a look at it, and I think it needs a bit of leaf on either side there too. So we can use the ones that we have cropped and put them behind the flower, kind of sticking out. Like I said, we are going to have to make a box. So you might as well go whole hog and have a load of 3D stuff. This is definitely a mantelpiece pleaser, this one. Stands up nicely. There we are. We've got a bit of leaf on that one. And now we need just a little bit of something coming up here. So let's see what we've got. Can we use that? Yes, we can. So cut it down a bit of glue on it and position it so it's just coming up from the side. There you go. Easy. You have much fun as you want with all of these. I'm going to pop that one there. So that's as many flowers in as I'm going to put. I think I've still got a few left, but we can check it out. No, I like that. That's enough, I feel. Now, because these have only been put on with foam pads, you can move them up. If you feel like you've put them in too far down and you can't see the back row, then you can move it up a little bit so that you can. There we go. I think I just put those two in. That's better. I put them in a little low. Take all your glue strings away. Now, we covered up the front part of this detailing on Hazel's. Oh, I seem to have lost the anniversary somewhere. Right, on Hazel's nice die there. So what I did was, with the other one that I cut out, and you've seen how much you can do with all of these things over the last couple of lives that Julie and Hazel have done. So I've cut that off the top. Just straight across, cut it off the top. Now, if I put it on like that, you're not going to see it. So I've cut myself a strip of yellow to go on there. And I'm going to pop that on with glue. And then it carries the yellow through the hearts all the way down the card. So line it up with a space equal on either side. There we go. And then you can just glue this on the top. I've kept the little scallops on the edge because they're kind of pretty. I like that. So we're just going to put that in the middle of it. Oops. Line it up straight. So you've got a good border. There we go. That looks pretty straight to me. Yeah, that does look pretty straight to me. And then the only thing left to do is put happy anniversary on, but I don't know where to put the happy. It's got to be here somewhere. It was. I don't know where it's gone. It's probably stuck to my arm or something. Oh, I found it on the floor. But would you believe it? There we go. So, happy anniversary. And I chose to put the happy anniversary in gold because this could be a golden anniversary card, could it not? So, happy anniversary. I mean, you could put it on there if you wanted to. Up to you. So, it's far easier to make than it actually looks. Honestly, literally 4 scores, that's it. So, let's be putting the anniversary and happy on. Is that straight? No. It's so difficult trying to see over the top when you're doing a live to line things up. Right, forgive me if it's not straight, it's now staying there. Okay. So I've put this on again, like I said, with foam pads. Stand it up a little. And these must have been the last of the biggest foam pads I had. So, oh, you're very welcome, Cynthia. Happy anniversary on there. There we go. Now, I've got a couple of flowers left. So, I think I really like these leaves. I think I'm going to use those. Okay. So, I'm going to just crop, because that's too big to go there. I want to put one there, crop that one off. Believe me, I'll use them. And I'm going to crop that one off. Now, it looks ugly where you've cropped it off because, well, you know, you haven't got the nice space around it. But I'm going to cover that with a flower. So, it doesn't matter about that ugly bit you've just chopped. Pop it on. There we are. I'm going to cut into this one because I've got 2 left. Right. I'm going to chop into it. And I'm just going to shake this one and pop it on top of the other one so we've got a little bit more dimension on there as well. So on that, offset it, and that's going to sit there now. Again, hot glue for speed. And the only other thing we've got to do really is find a gem for the middle of there. I've got gems on all the others, so I would have used glossies, but that would have meant I would have had to use all my yellow ones up in one go, and I wasn't prepared to do that. So I've put a bit of shine on it, and I'm just going to put a bit of glue on because these don't have sticky on the back at all. So pop it down, pop it on, and it will match all the others now. I'm just going to check I've got some on all of them. Missed that. There we go. There we are. And that's it. Simple as. No difficult things to do. Let me just move all my mess. And then you'll get a decent picture of what it looks like. So I will put pictures on the Julie Hickey page and the Crafty Friends of Julie Hickey in a moment. I'll take photographs of it. But as you can see, it's not difficult. It stands up. It's nice and 3D. And I think it's just dead cute, even if I do say so myself. So thank you so much for watching. And if you do make one, then please tag me. I did promise I was going to do the baby grow. I can't remember who I promised, but I was going to make the baby grow card. So I might just have a look at me Nana schedule for Lyra, and I might be able to get an extra one, and I don't know, I'll have to see. But I'll have to clear it with Julie first. So thanks very much, ladies, for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.